Hello and welcome to another Muzzpressions, where I give my impressions on the latest video game, betas, whatever has come out recently really. Today we're doing Back 4 Blood, which is essentially the next Left 4 Dead game without actually being the next Left 4 Dead game. It is made by the same people who created the same studio who made the original Left 4 Dead, so it's been a game that a lot of people have been longing for, kind of this spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead, and I'm just going to say at the minute I'm on the fence about getting the full game, and I'll go into kind of why towards the end of the video. So the gameplay in Back 4 Blood is good. It is very good. The core mechanics of Left 4 Dead are there. You've got zombies, you've got the special infected, and you've got these set piece moments that really ramp up the tension, ramp up the excitement. The weapons in the game feel really good to use. There's a lot of variety with them as well. Melee combat is actually viable, and I'll get on to why that is in a little minute. I do have some issue with the normal infected and the special infected. So the normal infected, they just don't feel as good as the Left 4 Dead, and I'm going to be comparing this to Left 4 Dead obviously for a lot of reasons, but yeah, they just don't feel as good to kind of kill as the Left 4 Dead, and it's not a major issue. They still feel good to kill, but just not as good as the Left 4 Dead zombies. My main issue with the enemies is the special infected. Now, what they've done is they've got probably more variety in there in terms of the amount of special infected, but it's the way they've done it. So instead of having like Boomer, a Smoker who look very, very different, they have kind of the body types of these enemies, and then they switch the abilities and the skins that they have, which change their abilities obviously. So the big hulking brutes have kind of three. I think they all have three different special abilities. So you've got the Puker, you've got what I would refer to as the Boomer, which explodes when it gets close to you, and then there's one more which I can't. But it just isn't that good at differentiating them. I think it's something to do with the placement of their weak point, but in the heat of the moment you're not always going to be able to identify it straight away, so it can be a bit, and just aesthetically, like Left 4 Dead was so good because they were so distinct, the special effected, whereas this, it feels like there's just kind of a reskin, and it does kind of, obviously you're fighting maybe different variants, but it makes it feel like you're just fighting the same special infected over and over again. Apart from that, some of the special infected are quite cool. I like the tall ones. They are pretty tough to take down. The little spider things that shoot things at you, they're annoying, but again, that's good because it makes it challenging. Still yet to see, I think, all of the special infected, so that's just one of my main gripes from the beta. Set piece moments were good, as I would expect. I liked that there was a bit more variety in the set piece moments. You might have to blow up a boat to block the path of the infected, or destroy the hives, which there's two of them in the story mode that you do, and I liked that they were random whenever you went in, so they were never in the same spot as when you'd done it the previous time. Honestly, the first half of the campaign was a bit like, oh, this is a bit meh, but then the second half was actually quite good, but that was a bit further on into the story. The story of Left 4 Dead was never really an issue. It's just about getting to the end of the level and kind of dealing with whatever set piece moments you've got to deal with. There was never really an importance on the goings on in the world. It was just survive. Whereas they're trying to, I think, do more of a story, because there's moments where you're hearing about other parts of the world.
I don't know if anyone can hear me, but our settlement is gone. The infected have changed, mutated. I repeat, Evansburg is gone. No survivors.
Cool.
Or the characters will react to seeing something, and I don't know tonally if that is going to work, because Left 4 Dead took it in its stride. It was kind of tongue-in-cheek with it, whereas this, sometimes it's tongue-in-cheek, sometimes it's a bit more serious. Like there's a bit in it where you hear a outpost getting overrun by the Ridden, which, by the way, that's the first and only time I'm going to say it, because I do not agree with that name. I think it's pretty ridiculous. We call them zombies, because that's what they are. And then, yeah, just tonally it seems all over the place. And then the ogres, this is for the special effect, I should have talked about this, but the ogres, that should have been like the last moment of the beta. You fighting the ogre, it's like really tough. Instead it's in the second part of the first campaign, and it just feels underwhelming. And the worry is that they are going to be like the tanks, but the tanks were so good because they could appear at any point during the level. You hear that music, you think, oh no, we are in for a fight here. Whereas the ogres, because of the size of them, it seems like it's going to be very scripted moments, which it was during the beta. So I'm not looking forward to that aspect of it. Hopefully they'll have kind of one down that is like a tank that can appear at random times. The AI, I mean, I'll go on to some more systems, but the AI of the enemies and your teammates, if they're played by bots, not the best, not as good as Left 4 Dead, I feel. And the bots, when you're playing with them, just you're at a disadvantage because they're not as good as obviously human players. And I never really felt that in Left 4 Dead. Felt it here. You're at a disadvantage if you're playing with bots. And then, yeah, the special effect, they don't really come from any like special ways or anything like that. They mostly just come from the front, which in Left 4 Dead you had to be on your game because they could come from any direction. But hopefully this is things that they can kind of change for the full game release. Moving on to some of the kind of the systems in the game. The card system, so there's a card system which is essentially like a set of skills that you can take into each run with you, and you can choose them as you go along and complete each part of the campaign. And at first I was like, what is this? This doesn't make any sense. But then towards the end of the gameplay I was like, right, I understand. It allows you to create tailor a character to your playstyle. So if you're a melee focused character, you could have all the melee cards in there. So ones that allow you to do a heavy attack, ones that allow you to get health back for doing melee damage. You could have ones for just guns, one for mainly upgrading your health. So I do see the benefit of that, and I think that will be a better system moving forward, because the characters in the game do have their own skills and their own personalities. One, Mum, who I played, has the skill of her first revive is like instant, and I don't know if that you need to buy that back with the copper stuff, but that gives her a unique identity, and as well as the voice actor doing a good job. It just, again, tonally it seems all over the place, because some of the characters are really serious, where some of them are like making jokes. Some of them are making jokes at the same time as you're hearing people getting slaughtered, and it's just like, yeah, this is a bit tonal all over the place. I'd rather they went one way or the other. And just talk about the versus mode. Yeah, it sucks. I did not enjoy my time in that. Maybe The campaign mode, apparently they're doing, so you play through the campaign and you got the special fight to come to get you. But yeah, the versus mode they had for the beta was not impressive. I played it twice and barely anyone was playing it. The maps were tiny, there was barely anything to do in them or hiding, and just forget about that mode in my opinion. But yeah, I think that's it all. So the main issue I have with Back 4 Blood is I need 3 other people to play with, and if I'm not going to get that, I don't see it being as good a game as it could be. It's like Left 4 Dead. If you play it with friends, it's a great laugh. If you play it alone, it's not as fun. You can maybe still have fun with it, but not as fun. So that's where my issue lies, and it'll be interesting to see who gets it from my friend group, and whether we all do get it or some of us get it and some of us don't. But yeah, that is my thoughts on Back 4 Blood. I'm sure there's 1 or 2 things that I may have left out, but I think it is a good game. The beta was good towards the end. I think the private beta, I didn't really feel that way, but as we played the open beta, I think I started to get into the groove of it and really start to enjoy it. But what do you think? What is your opinion on Back 4 Blood? Did you feel the way that I did, where you kind of were lukewarm at the start and then you got more into it as the days rolled on, or were you the opposite? Did you really enjoy it and then kind of burn yourself out on it? Let me know. Talk to me. Let's get a conversation going down in the comments. And with all that said, all that's left to say is any thoughts, comments, general hostile remarks, leave them below. Thank you very much. Bye bye.